I've been without a job for a year. I've been out of my, just saying that, look at this. I'm still tearing up. But I have been out of my career for a year, y'all. And this video that I'm doing today is really inspired by a comment that was deleted. Girl, why you delete your comment? It was inspired by a comment from what I read. I was trying to get to it, but the lady, I think I'm going to paraphrase, she said, you know, what do you do? Like, how do you stay encouraged in this process of God calling you out of your career? Like, she felt like she was in this process and it can get discouraging and exhausting. And girl, y'all see this tear that was still trying to fall? I can't let it fall because I got some more videos to do, but I get it. I get it. A year later, I'm still tearing up about it, right? And I want to speak to you heart to heart. I have no notes here. I want to give you encouragement as someone who is a year removed from a very, very, very hard decision. Y'all know I chronicled it here on YouTube for you. The ugly, I'm looking like everything I've been through, eyes puffy, skin just broke out like, yo, I went through there. I went down through there. Y'all hear me? Terrified, traumatized, thinking I was about to become an atheist. I've been there. I know how exhausting and tiring it can be. I know what it feels like to kind of think that God is about to take the last thing you got from you, which he did take from me. I know what it's like for you to feel like you're about to threaten homelessness and to feel like the purpose isn't worth it, and to understand why other generations before you went ahead and opted out of the process and didn't complete their process. I know the pressure. I know the night terrors. I know how that feels. And I want to talk to you candidly about that. Unscripted, girl to girl, like we in the coffee shop chatting. I want to let you know that you are going to have to let yourself fall apart. That's hard. That's hard. Hear me out. The hardest part about the journey is that I was still trying to hold myself together. I was still trying to show up as the version of who I had been prior to leaving my career. You know that, when you get in certain spaces, you kind of morph and transform into whatever that environment demands of you. And for me, it was like this more polished version of myself. And if y'all notice, I've become a little bit more animated, a little bit more, kikiing as I've been out of my career, because I'm no longer in the structure that requires me to button it up. You know what I'm saying? Stay buttoned up to be acceptable. And the hardest part was me still trying to keep it together. I didn't want to fall apart. I didn't want to admit that I hated my life. I said that to people. I hated my life. I told y'all that I considered taking myself out of here silently. Never said that to anybody. I went through such mental anguish, such depression and anxiety, and there was days on end where I would just cry. I would just cry. And there were moments when my mom would call me and she would be like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Ask me another question. Don't ask me how I'm doing, because I'm not doing. I'm crying. I'm crying, spitting, and farting. And I'm so tired of crying because I feel so weak and I don't understand why God would put me through this. And I agreed. And I seen him come through for so many people in record time. But he waited until I get to the end of my road to come for me. I seen him let people have this monkey bar experience where they're able to let go of one thing and immediately step into another thing. But you're going to process me for 11 months. And you're going to let me suffer and not send me any help. You're going to watch me get the taste slapped out of my mouth to become, and I don't even know if I want to serve the God like this. That is the truth of my journey, right? I didn't want to have to renegotiate who I was. I didn't want that. Like, I had worked so hard to get out of the hood and to become Dr. Brianna Whiteside, to become who I am as a 35-year-old woman, and you're going to take that from me at this big age? Do you know? You know what I'm saying? Do you know how people are looking at me and perceiving me if I meet them out and they say, "Hey, what do you do?" And I just say, "Look, I do my best." Do you know how society frowns on people like me? Do you know how irresponsible I seem to the outside world? Do you know? Why would you do this to me at this big age? At 25, it could have been cute. 28 could have been cute. Even 30, I may have gotten a pass, but 35 is insane. And to be honest, just thinking about the timeline, at 33, I agreed verbally At 33, my Jesus year, I agree verbally. At 34, I wrote the resignation and submitted it. At 35, I fully came out of the career June 2024. I'm about to be 36, y'all, this year. I'm about to be 36. I'm too old to be doing this in my mind, right? So all of these social conversations were circling in my mind, all of the religious dogma that I was trying to deconstruct or come out of and figure out, like, do I really believe this thing? My biological clock. That's a whole nother thing as a woman you have to consider. All of these things were coming at me, and I'm like, why would you do this to me? How could you? That's the thought. How could you? And then I'm getting up here and I'm not getting the views on YouTube, and I'm putting in all this work. Now, if I was messy and petty and start talking about people, people will be tuning in and subscribing to the channel, but that's just not me. I'm trying to stay true to myself. I'm trying to stay financially integral, like all of these things, these pressures, the cares of life, if you will. And I struggled. I struggle. And if the question was, how do you stay encouraged? There are days that you won't be. There are days where you won't feel like talking to anybody, where you will compare yourself to so many other people, where you will ask God, why is he punishing you for obedience? There will be moments where you will question, did you hear the voice of God? Did you really hear what he told you to do? There will be moments when your bills are going to be looking at you like, you finna be up out of here. There will be moments when you question yourself and your self-worth and your value, and all of these things, they start to fall apart. They become overwhelming, and you just cry. I cried my way through this journey. I still cry sometimes, y'all. It's not as frequently as when I first was grieving. When I first made the decision, I was grieving heavy. I grieved in front of you. I was honest about it because I know that sometimes in church, we like to sanitize the journey. We like to sanitize our testimony, but I was showing y'all the test, the 11 months of the test, the bitterness, the pit, the valley moments. And I didn't get a break because I didn't feel like God was saying, hey, go off the grid, Brianna. No, he was saying, you're about to have to build as you're undergoing this. You are going to have to build as you go. I didn't get that luxury that other people got. I didn't, and I thought I deserved it. I wanted it. I wanted to preserve my pride. I wanted to preserve my image, right? I wanted to stay buttoned up. But the process of God will unbutton you. It would unzip you. It will knock you down, and it is still the will of God. And I think that, I didn't realize that I had believed certain things that people would say about their testimonies, which is why I think testimonies can be both bad and good, because subconsciously what we begin to do is compare our lives to other people's testimonies. Well, this person said they did this for 3 months and God came through at this point. So maybe if I do this for 3 months, God's going to come through in this time frame for me. Nah, it don't work like that. Or this person left their job and God came through for them every month, immediately after they left their job. God didn't do that for me. God told me in 2019 to start getting my money together. Start getting your money together. I thought it was so I could just be money bags Bree. No, start getting your money together, Bree, because what I later found out is you're going to need that money when I call you out of your career and when you finally leave, because the process will make you feel like you left prematurely. And I'm grateful that he sent certain prophetic words ahead of that decision to say, hey, you're not going to move prematurely, right? Because in this 11 months, I did feel like I moved prematurely. I'm like, well, I could have actually stayed in my career another year and left this month, right? This year, this month, because they still owed me another year on my contract. So I could have technically still been in and just leaving now, but that wasn't what God instructed me to do. No, take that. Don't take that money. No, do not, hold up the slot for someone else who's ready. Your replacement is ready, Brianna. Your replacement is ready. Do not hold up their destiny because you're scared. And I couldn't figure out, well, I mean, if we was gonna have to wait this long of a time, they could wait a little bit longer too, because I'm waiting. That's selfish. I know, but this is just the human part of me. This is the part of me that's just trying to be honest and saying like it was hard. And it's still a little bit difficult, y'all. Even though I've stepped into the kingdom, even though it's a different type of rest on this side, I know that parts of me still isn't out. Parts of my mentalities, part of my conditioning from childhood, it's still there. So I have to kind of fight so much to get the rest of my mind out. Majority of it is out. But the rest of me, it's going to take a little bit of a process. And this is why I know all deliverances don't end at the altar. All deliverances do not end at the altar. Because if I was able to get a devil cast out of me and then immediately step into wealth, I would have preferred that as opposed to the 11 months that I was made to suffer. 11 months that I was made to suffer. And I want to just be honest about that. So to the person who is struggling to stay encouraged, I want you to understand that you won't always be encouraged. You won't. The only thing you're required to do every day is obey. The only thing you're required to do is obey. And sometimes you will obey with a smile. Sometimes you will obey with tears in your eyes. Sometimes you will obey not talking to God that day because you're so angry you don't understand it. Sometimes you may curse. Sometimes you may overeat. I don't know your process, but what I do know is that you have to allow yourself space to be human. You have to be okay with being human. And that is something that's going to be difficult to potentially wrap your mind around, especially when there's so many social cues coming at you and so much information coming at you, and you're seeing what God did for other people, and you're kind of wondering, like, why you didn't do this for me? Like, I've been here, kind of like the elder brother, like, I've been here. I was shocked that he did it to me, y'all. I was like, me? 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 Like, come on, like, surely you could have lessened this process. But what I know to be true is the price is the price. The price is the price. And whatever your previous generations did not do, and it's easy to continue to blame them, but that's not what I want you to do. Whatever they didn't do, of course, the lot falls to you. So not only do you have your burden to carry, but you also have the burden that they didn't take care of, right? Which was naturally passed on to you, because the burdens of the family do not leave the family. They just pass from one generation to the next. And I know it feels unfair, but the longer you hyper focus on how much it feels unfair, as opposed to the goal in front of you, the scripture says, for the joy that was set before him, Christ endured the cross. You got to focus on the joy in order to endure, right? You have to focus on the end result in order to endure the process, because it's not a fun process. It's a bloody process. Following Christ is a bloody process. I just want to let y'all know that just like deliverance, it's an ugly process, and we glamorize it on social media and make it seem like, oh my God, look at this. It is an ugly process. Coming out of anything is an ugly and bloody process. So I don't want you to be so hard on yourself to the point where you're like, I can't do this. No, you can't do this in your own strength. And the days that you feel weak and the days that you feel like it's not worth it, don't try to trick yourself into doing something. Those are the days that you're going to want to rely on God. Even when you're mad at him, you're going to want to rely on him, because you ain't going to be able to do it. I'm just going to tell you that now. You won't be able to do this thing in your own strength. You won't be able to endure in your own strength. And I think I said this in another video. The moments where my spirit was becoming, I was becoming atheistic and trying to, go downward, the Holy Spirit was just pulling me back up. So I'm trying to come down knowingly. And he's like, nope, nope, nope. And I'm like, stop pulling me up. It's y'all fault I'm here, right? Like, I was so angry. Like, I followed you into this. For the last 4 years, y'all have taken everything from me, stripped me of everything. Let me have my soaking moment. Let me be human. And they like, nah, we ain't gonna let you go down that. And I was mad, but I'm not mad no more. I'm not mad no more. I am in great anticipation for the things to start to manifest in my life, the promises of God and the prophetic words that I've been holding on to for so many years to begin to manifest in my life. So I say this as someone who has not received any physical thing yet, but knows that I have finally stepped into a different realm of provision, a different realm of the kingdom. And I'm just super excited to finally see those things come into my life in physical form. So I haven't made it there yet, but I will say that I have made it out of the darkness of the journey. I've made it out of the darkness of the journey. And for that, I am grateful. So I don't know if this has helped you or not, but I wanted to give a real perspective on this and not a hyper spiritual, perspective that will kind of discourage you or cause you to think that you're doing something wrong because you feel a certain way. I want to just be honest about my own journey because I know that you have been following along and watching it. And it has been a painful thing to show y'all, but it has been the most honest thing that I could have done. So I hope this has helped you. If it has, leave me a comment, like the video, share with a friend who may be struggling. And just know that you have to keep the goal in front of you and you have to focus on where you want to be in maybe 5 years or 3 years from now. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to undergo a year of suffering to get to the second year where you will reap an abundance of blessings, is it worth it when you think about it that way? Yes. So focus on that, friend. Of course, I'm praying for you. Anybody who God has called out of their career into total dependence on Him and reliance on Him, I'm praying for you because it's not an easy thing to do. But it is a thing that you can do. So I'll see y'all soon in another video. Bye.